Okay. On the spot. On the spot. You can only play one modeler for the rest of your life. Choose one modeler and why. Suze, go ahead. You go first.
Kemper. I'm the most comfortable on it. I know what I'm going to get, and I know I'm going to love what I'm going to get. I think capture tech beats modeling every time. Every time.
Very diplomatic, Suze. I like the answer.
Yeah, and so that rules out a lot of units. And yeah, I would say recently I've come into the Axe Effects Fractal world, and I'm super impressed.
Yeah.
So it would be between those two, and today I'd go Kemper.
Yeah. And you're kind of including the axe tone matching in that.
Yes.
In that advantage
equation.
over
yes,
not
because
having
it's
it.
so.
Because we've been really impressed with that.
Yes, and the
been
effects
really
really
impressed
are
with it.
great, and
Yeah.
the editor is superior and all that
Yes.
stuff. So yeah, I mean it's
Right.
But yeah, today, I mean honestly, the FM9 we were commenting on just how beautiful that.
Dude,
thing
I got to
is.
be honest. So the FM3 and the FM9 next to each other, the FM9 is beautiful. I don't know, something about the
It's
size.
engineered
The
so
FM3
well.
is it's like the same components, but the size of it just looks, it's fine. But the 9 is really,
Can't picture it.
it's
That,
nice.
even that next to a stage, maybe I'm changing my answer. That next to a stage is like the FM9
The
feels
FM9 is
like
really
so
good
like
looking.
solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still going Kemper, but give me a couple more.
I like the answer. I'm going to say very diplomatic because your reasons for the Kemper were, you know it the best, blah, blah, blah. That's what I was saying was diplomatic. Bradford?
In what world?
Just choose one.
In what world would I be told if you play any other friggin' modeler but the one you decide in this moment, you will die? In what world am I being faced with such intense, what's the word? Ultimatums
That's the word.
that I would have to make this call? There's room at the cross for you. There's room for
Foot of the
everything.
cross.
Depending on my mood, depending on what I had for
Just
dinner
one
last
model.
night.
Welcome
No,
home.
No,
Model.
I don't. This. What? Why is this a question?
This isn't real.
I know exactly. So why are we spending time on not real things?
Would you like-
This is like
This is all I'm going to say. It doesn't
These
have
are
to be-
middle-aged men
Would you like me
playing
to go
Dungeons
next?
and
No,
Dragons,
it-
but with guitar modelers.
Because my
Listen,
answer,
I'm gonna
answer
put-
came,
wait, don't tell-
my answer
don't tell
came
me yet.
fast.
Don't
and-
tell me yet.
Yes.
It's not. You're not. Which is the best? Which would you choose and why? And
Right.
like
no, that's
Suze's
even worse.
answer-
That's
no, no,
even
no.
worse.
No, no.
Because that doesn't exist.
Okay, but like Suze's answer is like, I just know this one the best. So even though like he had a lot of nice things to say about the axe, which we've been very impressed with, and which if anyone said axe, I'd say I get it. And if somebody said, dude, the axe editor is way better than the Kemper, I'd go, yep. And if someone said, the quad core, like if someone's axe best editor in class, for sure, best editor out there. But if someone said QC best editor, I'd go, all right. I can see how you might think that. That's a fine opinion. So like maybe it's just I work at my desk the most, so I'd choose this. You know, it's not really any, you know what I'm saying?
I choose whichever one I played last.
Which is
What'd you play last?
FM9.
all
It's actually the one I used live last.
all right.
It's
all right.
friggin' awesome.
I'm putting you down for FM9.
But this is fake. And
the official-
This,
the
this
official-
is whose line is it anyway, where the points aren't real and everything's made up.
You're avoiding this question so hard that it's suspicious.
Yeah, very suspicious. What do you know? Isn't it interesting? There's actually one company we never even talk about going to shows like this, and we don't, you know.
Boss?
No, Fractal.
Oh, Fractal.
No one's even like, how come they? You know what I mean? Like,
Come
are they
over to
showing-
worship tutorials. We talk
yeah.
about them a lot.
No, I mean at the show.
At the
Oh,
NAMM
at
show.
the
At the
NAMM
NAMM show.
Oh,
like
they're
no one's
never
No,
here.
they wouldn't be.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
they
It's like
don't-
they
they
just
don't
they
do
don't.
this.
They're not even.
You can't even buy it in a store.
No, it's like another class of like we don't even. Not only are we direct to consumer, and so we're not going to go to the
You got to
show.
get on the. You got to get on the forum, find the post about what's coming next. Say I want on the mailing list, and then email some. Yeah, it's,
Hey, are we doing a most disappointing piece of gear at NAMM? Is that
We
later?
can, we can do that.
Okay.
But okay,
Come back later.
Brian. If you
Yeah.
one modeler can only play one modeler.
My answer is AxeFX3 with an FC12 controller.
Okay, the big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
whole thing.
The full guy.
Does the 12 give you more than the FM9 does in terms of buttons?
3 more buttons.
Okay.
FM9 is 9 buttons.
Oh, it says it in the title.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's why it's in the
That's
title.
terrible. What's the screen like? Is the screen like the FM9 screen?
No.
On the controller, on the 12?
The controller just only will show you. Well, you get the scribble strips above each.
That's how you get the extra buttons, right?
Yeah,
There's
that's
no
where the extra
real
buttons
estate.
are. Where the screen
Can
is.
you do any editing on
No,
the 12?
you can't edit.
You have to
from-
go over to where the 3
You
is.
have to be on the
Okay.
unit. Yeah.
It's like a remote for the Kemper, just controlling.
It's,
the-
yeah.
Okay, so it's very limited at your feet, but the
Yes.
the 3 is nearby.
Correct. Yeah. So I would choose it because I think it sounds the best of all the things,
Yeah.
except for maybe Tonex. And
See, you're out getting after him for his game.
I'm a fan of the Tonex, dude. I had nothing bad to say
Yeah.
about Tonex.
I think the effects in it are so far above everything else. It's not
The axe you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
And it's the one I've also used it live. It's the thing I've used live for the last 3+ years. It's almost the only thing I've used live for the past 3 years.
Have you used the FM9 live?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're saying like you can hear a difference between.
You can't hear a difference.
Okay.
They sound the same.
But you like and that's mostly because of the
But the
FC12.
Firmware.
Yeah, it depends on the firmware, but
they
I like
typically
the
do
buttons.
Axe and FM9
Yeah.
together now, right? It's FM3 that kind of gets told to wait.
FM9,
sometimes
FM9 and 3 both lag behind, but FM9 seems to get updates more often than 3. Yeah. But AxeFX 3 gets them first. It's because Cliff does the AxeFX 3 updates, and then he has a team of other people that port it to the other units. So he sort of does it on the AxeFX 3, and then the other ones play catch up. And
It's so weird.
it's also the only thing that I've never been able to think, except for one thing. I've never been able to hear something and not be able to recreate it with the effects on that unit. Anything that I've ever wanted to make sound, I've been able to do it on XFX 3, and no other unit really I could say that about. The only thing that it can't do is some of the stuff that the Eventide H90 does.
Sure,
but I've
sure.
been able to get pretty close. For example, Bradford uses his signature move, in my opinion, the Chase Bliss. What's that thing called? The Gravitas, the ramping tremolo, up and down, and
We know because Kemper's had that feature for about 11 years. That's how we know.
but does it go up and then down and then up and then down?
And you can
Does it oscillate? Can
Decide
you-
what speed you can took any parameter.
But do you have
up
to push
any.
a button to make it go up and then again to go down and then?
Oh, the Gravitas has just an up and
It just goes up.
Oh.
And so in the AxeFX 3, you can attach any parameter
Mm-hmm.
of anything to one of 2 LFOs, and you can adjust the LFO to make it do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So you can set tremolo speed to LFO
Yeah.
1, and it just goes up.
yeah.
We
The
felt
Boss MS3 can do that.
Does it? That's
The
cool.
little thing I have can do that. Yeah,
That's awesome.
the little controller,
The little tiny
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. It can do that.
Oh yeah, a lot sometimes MIDI.
Yeah,
is
because
it has
MIDI?
all-
It's a
to an
MIDI
alpha,
thing.
yeah.
it has
Yeah.
like all the boss effects in it.
So
It's like a sleeper
And
pedal. It's
the-
It
awesome.
is really
Yeah.
great, actually.
It
It's
actually
a really
is
good pedal.
I'm-
It's crazy how
It totally
what
is.
that little thing does,
I
and it's
know.
totally slept on.
I'm gonna say it too. Fractal has the best reverbs in the game.
Okay.
So, I love
Fractal. So
Fractal stuff.
the big
And
guy for all those reasons.
And the
and
tone
12.
matching is on point. Like I can essentially play through my amps with the AxeFX 3, and there's never a phase issue. So,
The dreaded phase issue. Yeah.
One modeler.
You asking me?
I'm asking you.
I have the most experience with the Kemper. I also have never tried to get a sound out of the Kemper that I couldn't. You know.
I guess you can just, if you really want, you can choose a neural DSP plugin.
So the
that's- if you're
so what I was
playing
going to say.
pianos lately.
So I didn't choose the Kemper though. I'm actually most excited about the Quad Cortex.
Kemper chose you.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
I'm actually more excited about Quad Cortex stuff right now.
Yeah.
And like I'm into more like high gain stuff, less like washy effecty stuff, and I don't know. They just have it going on right now. I think it sounds pretty good. and it's got capture tech, so
Yeah.
yeah, and it's small. Like you can just bring that thing. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And it's got a big screen on it. I
Sure.
like that. Touchscreen.
It's got a nice touchscreen.
Yep.
It does have a very nice touchscreen.
And eventually they'll run the plugins, which is what I use mostly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. When they port the plugins over, that's going to be really,
it's going to be
really fun and
game
interesting.
changer.
How
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting if you can use those with the rest of the stuff already built in, like how it'll integrate.
Yeah.
Because kind of one of the.
I know it almost seems like it would be like one mode or the other.
Yeah.
You know?
Can I tell you, I think if they put the plugins on the Quad Cortex and then you can use all the other effects, I think it'll make it worse.
Yeah.
Because part of those plugins, there's already plugins that do everything, and what's great about those plugins is it references an artist, so you have a really clear expectation. Like it's Mateus, and it's the one matchless channel. It's the Marshall. So you already like know what you're going for, and then the effects feel like his rig. It feels like you're playing his rig, and like in that one, there's just the octave button. So there's not like a full octave. It's like you can't adjust all the octave, but then there's more control on the stuff. It's like it feels like a really nice curated collection that just seems to work. And I feel like if you gave me the ability to do everything else, I would just like screw it up.
But I also feel like if there was a way that they could like explode all of those individual things and make them all their own component, right? Because that's what a lot of people do. Like you can turn off the amp section and the cabinet section and just have the effects section on of a plugin.
Sure. So
and then feed one plugin into another, right?
A bunch of
so you
instances
can
of it.
do that. It's totally fine. So bring that to the Quad Cortex. You can just drag, the Petrucci compressor pedal and then the Rabia delay pedal. You know what I mean? Like you can do it. I think that would be cool too. The hard part with the plugins though is like the licensing and how you buy them and how it's so weird, because you gotta have like an iLock account. So it's like
Right.
Yeah, but
they have to fix that.
shoot themselves in the foot if they port these over to the Quad Cortex and says anyone can use these. Are you saying like you still
No, you're
have
still
to
going to need to
that.
buy them.
You're gonna have to buy it, but like, how do you like log into iLock?
How do you
on
let
the
them
Quad-
know I've already
on the
purchased
Quad
You won't need
Cortex?
to because your unit is already connected to a neural DSP account,
Oh, I
which
guess
is the
that's
same
true.
account you use
That
to
you
buy
would
the
use to
plugins.
purchase
I guess that's
Now,
true.
what's going to happen is there's going to be some people go, I use a different account to buy my plug. I don't know what they're going to do, but if they know, if you have, the
but
plugins on
also
your account-
like on the iLock you can only have so many logins or whatever.
right.
So you can't.
It's interesting.
We'll find out soon.
Soon.
HW, your turn.
Wait.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
we
What
make
do you pick?
Can we make a stipulation? What would you pick besides the Kemper?
Oh, sure, I'll do that. But first,
Yeah.
let me. I mean,
It
it would
would
be
be-
disingenuous for me to say anything. Look, I mean, if the question is, what would you play? I'll tell you the one. I mean, I take the Kemper out of my house all the time. Right? It lives in a like go bag, and now with the player, because it's so small, I feel like I have to put something next to it. So it's been fun. I've been playing the Chroma console with it, so that's fun. And I keep building boards, because that's like my thing now. You can't use it by itself now,
Do you actually build them though? Do you just like plan to? Build
No, I just
them?
build them in Pedal Planner on my phone,
There you
and
go.
then hopefully one day I'll build one.
I just look at pictures of what I could do.
Listen,
Yeah.
what do you think? I'm going to practice the guitar and get better? No, I'm going to look at pedals on the
here's-
internet.
here's
There
the
we
thing.
go.
What do you think?
Damn.
You've got to
What
assume
do you-
that your
do
your
you think
customer
this
base, your customers are going to use Kemper players, and so they need to have demos from Tone Junkie about how does this sound with pedals on a
Yeah.
board.
How
So
does
you
this
have to
go
have a
with-
demo board or 3 with Kemper
Yeah.
players on it.
You got to have some boards, yeah,
That you
for
use
sure.
it's
For sure.
Totally.
It's
Yeah.
business expense.
Yeah, we got a couple players, and they're great so far.
board has like. Does your board right now have the player on it or the Tonex?
It has the Tonex, but it's the player is just
You could
itching
swap
to
it
get
out.
on there.
Yeah.
a little swapperoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should do some demos.
And you have
with that.
Yeah, you guys, and there's a lot of pedals at Tone Junkie
Oh, so many.
headquarters.
Yeah, and there's new. Yeah, and when you'll be able to upgrade the player with other things, I'll be even happier. Morphing the new the newer reverbs and newer delays, and then it looks like the stuff they're showing. So they actually have some new effects on the Kempers right now. They're not really announcing it, but it's just sitting on the Kempers in the booth. or it's sitting on the bigger heads. And so they were saying those could be some of the first DSP. See, it's interesting. The fact that DLC, sorry, it's interesting because the fact that they've like hinted at DLC now is like also incentivizing them to, well, okay, let's make even more, to like really convince people there's really something you should pay for here. There's brand new stuff, and so it's also a way they can add value to the other units and just freely give them there, and then you know what I mean? Because they did release a pedal that probably has the capability to just be a mini version of their other ones, but it has a little less stuff on it.